All right, you devils, happy Friday. Hope you're having a good one. I'm off to a rocky start here. This is the third time I've had to record this video. I've had mic trouble and Camtasia. Anyway, I'll spare you the details, but I probably get they're shorter every time I have to do it. Okay, I'm pretty sure I've got everything working now. Looks like we're all good here. So I've got we're going to look at Bitcoin, of course. I've got three alts we're going to take a quick spin through that I pulled off of the Altfins hot list, and then we're going to finish with the S&P and bonds. And bonds, I think, is we're going to finish here because this is important. So there's your little teaser. Okay, let's go back over to Bitcoin. Now, first, let's start here. Oh, let's go out to a weekly. And let's get into logs. I don't remember the third time I've done this, so some of the charts they've already been fussed with. Okay, right. So here, if we're looking at this, again, I've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks where we do our Bitcoin Friday video. Okay, again, any other asset in the world, what's your first thought? Would you be insisting that we haven't completed an impulse there? I mean, there's some very, very skilled Elliotticians that are. Well, of course, this is a warning sign that are absolutely certain that we're going to do extension in the fifth. Because if we're going to chase the highs, right? Again, assuming you're applying Elliott Wave, that's what you're saying. You're saying that 1, 2, 3, 4, that's not the top, and this is not an AB or WX, Y, right? Now, keep in mind that from the low, right? Let's see if I have this here. I've got to check this because I've been going back and forth here. Like I said, it's the third time I've done this. So let's take it out. Let's take the fibs out of log scale, right? Because it just distorts so badly. So we can look here and say, okay, well, for linear, 50% is going to be at around 62, 63, right? Now, I know it's distorted, right? So if I take it out here, you see why, right? That would be 50%. So it's not like, oh, God, there's no conceivable way that we could be doing that. There's no way. No. We couldn't possibly sell off that far. It's not like we're saying this, right? Or like 50%. Now, this is through the course of these videos here, and I'm going to go through the alts quickly because, like I said, this is the third time I've had to do this due to mic trouble. But that shouldn't be your problem. That's my problem. Okay, all right. So the point being here, we're going to build on the case here. Okay, it's very easy to assume. Oh yeah, we're in 96. It's very easy to assume we're going to the new highs. I'm not saying we're not, but careful what you're assuming, because the rest of the picture here is going to bring some of that into question, right? And you'll note here I've got the full spectrum on there here. And of course, put a channel on this. I mean, can this get any prettier? Why are you assuming that's not complete? Well, what we can assume, right, is that's likely not the 3. 1, 2, right? The assumption, the 3K low here, we complete an impulse, do a reach. By the way, after we completed that, when we were, oh shit, where are you here? Now that's actually looking weird. Oh, let's get this one. Let's get this one back into fibs. After this, right, and we got to 69.70 for the first time, do you think, oh, well, there's no way it's going to 15K. No way. We just broke 69K. We're not going to 15K. No way. I mean, out of log scale is way past that. So I don't think there's much dispute here that that's a 2. Now, I know, right? I get a lot of comments. People say, well, you have to look at it in log scale, right? Most Elliotticians look at it in log scale. Well, okay, right. My point is that you got to look at it in both. That's my only point. I'm not saying don't. I'm not saying, but you got to look at it in both, because the log, we have to do full log, not semi-log here. So you got to price end time or in log, right? So it's a distortion. I like to say, right, when you're doing an analysis here, is the wave 3 longer? Well, it's longer is longer, right? If it's longer in linear, if it's not longer in log, lean to linear. Longer is longer. 50 is 50. Now that's a log 50. It's 15K right to 30. Right? Again, as I just showed you, out of log scale, it's way past 30. So just a reminder, right? My point is you got to look at it in both, right? If you choose to just stay linear only, well, more power to you, right? Hope that works out for you. If we're going to make a correction of this pivot here, and I do it this way, right? Again, where's the 50% retracement, right? 41, right? That's because that's log scale, right? Again, if I just did this, right? If I do this and I take it out of log scale, okay, well now we're at 62. So it's not a freak out, like, oh my God, oh, if we sweep those lows, oh my God, the bull market's over. It's not what we're saying. It's just, that's a pretty good looking completed impulse, right? I got divergence. I got pretty much everything I could hope for there to say, well, is it done? Well, there's no knowing, and we're not going to know until we see like what happens here. How far do we go here? Because we're absolutely at a critical point here to where it could easily go either way. Now, what's going to influence that? I'll finish with the bonds. Okay, so either, right? We've got new highs to go here, and we're extending the fifth. Now, keep in mind, eventually we're going to get to a pivot here. Nothing goes up forever. Right? Remember, 69. No way it's going to 15. Way, right? If we get up here, again, same thing, right? You're just going to do the same thing. Whenever we get this pivot up here, well, there's a linear log. Or a log, right? It's going to be much lower, right? So careful about what you're assuming here. Okay, if it is 1, 2, well, we've got a 3, 4, 5, and this is going to be much higher. But eventually, there is going to be a retracement, just like there always is. Careful of anytime you hear yourself thinking, well, it's going to be different this time. Oh, catch yourself, right? Couple hundred years of precedent here. I got news for you. I don't care what it is. It's never different this time. Well, it is yet to be, right? Maybe there's a first. Okay, and maybe Bitcoin is the one that could do it. If any asset could, right? It would be Bitcoin. It's totally unique. We're going to do that? Okay, well, that's not bad news. But eventually there'll be a 2, just like there was here. If this is the 2, okay, well, eventually it'll come. Well, the bottom line is here, do you want to buy it right now? Is this, oh shit, we're just 96, 97, do we want to buy it? Well, let's go look at, we've broken this down a couple of times in the last couple of weeks here. Let's do the bear, well, no, let's do the bull count first, right? Because most people want to be bullish, right? And here's the good news here, that at least on a 1 hour here, we got a break at the 65. But, right, careful, again, right, remember to absolutely kill the algo. Oh shit, here, should I have this? To absolutely kill it, we got to have a close on the other side on the daily, and we don't have it. That's when you know that you've killed the algo, or it's been stopped out, right? From the high to our most recent low, right? This range, right? We don't break him until we get a close on the other side, on the daily close on the other side of the 65. That's how you can confirm that the algorithmic, the measured move algo is broken from the all-time high. Until then, that's just wickery. All right, give them credit where credit is due, is ICT's famous quote, right, which I repeat all the time. Wicks do the damage, bodies tell the story. Wicks, bodies. Bodies tell the story, right? So it's encouraging, right? It's encouraging to see that break, right? But I'm not taking it off the board until I see a close, or off my chart, I should say, until I see a close on the daily. Now we go back to a 3 hour, and you're like, oh, yay, it looks good, right? So now again, I looked at this last week here. My view here, and I catch myself with this because I'm contradicting what I'm saying when we go look at the S&P. This looks to me like the C is in here, and I can go 1, 2, right? I get a big wick here, but I think this is the one, and we can take it into a 2, and then I get a pretty nice little impulse. 1, 2, 3. It's deep for the 4, but there's my 5, right? So I get an impulse into that third, right? Which influences my thinking here because this is a triangle. So, there goes the cash close. Just taking a peek there, how we finished. Well, not quite as hot as it looked early in the day. I mean, still, that's 8 or 9 days in a row. Okay, right, so 3, 4, oh, here comes the 5, right? So we've got a candidate here for an extension in the 5th within this scenario here off of the low. So we're going to do extension in the 1 of the 5th. of the extension of the fifth at the higher degree, right? I mean, if you follow what I was saying earlier, right, the implication would be here that this is going to be the 1 because this is the 2 that leads to the extension of the fifth. Well, okay, we're going to have an extension in the 1 of the extension of the fifth, I guess. Shit, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying slow down before you make a big assumption like that. This is to get this done here, right? You've got to get a pivot down here, and you got to have a valid count that gets there. And this is some very tricky, Elliott. This I had to lean on my Elliottician masters because I couldn't figure it out. But this came from PK. He's one of my level 3 senseis. He's certified at the highest level from Elliott Wave International. A, B, C gives me a W. Then I get a tiny little B here, an A, B, C into that X. But then I got to go A, B, C, D, E into the B here to get a C. So it's W, X, Y gets me into the low here. Now, that's very unusual, Elliott. Is it valid? Yeah, it's valid. But is it, is that what we like to see? A nice clean 535, right? We like to see it. The market doesn't always give you that, right? And considering the volatility we have across all risk assets, right? Fill in the blanks as to why, that's not crazy that we would have that much volatility coming into finding a low here. Well, we do have an impulse coming off of that low, which make you think, well, okay, what's wacky, WXY into a wacky finish, but impulse, so I can lean into that low. Okay, right? So again, encouraging signs here, but you can't distinguish it from the bear count, right? There's no way to tell. And this is actually cleaner Elliott. So this one here, we'd go, again, I've done these last couple of weeks, so members, right, bear with me. There's an ABC into a W. Then I can go, so that's my W. Now I'm looking for an X. A, B, C into an X. X, X, implying the next move down is the Y. Oops. Right, next move down is the Y. So we'd be going back down to test the mid-70s. Right? Now, the market's not obligated here, and just because there's an algo target there doesn't mean it has to get there. But that would be 66, right? We looked at 50% retracement was what, 62? So somewhere down here, right, there's value area low. And the market, again, doesn't have to sweep the low. That just would be what you'd expect, right? Because you would expect that the liquidity here would be grabbed before it goes back the other direction. Just like you could make the same case here that some of this liquidity is being grabbed. Right, we've looked here, right? All of this, right, is just structural liquidity points here. There's the POC. That's the POC from the high to the low. You cannot eliminate this, not yet. Not yet. And when I finish on the bonds, I'm going to give you some pretty good things to chew on over the weekend before you start assuming, okay, low is in. Okay, so there's a bull and a bear count on Bitcoin, and impossible to distinguish until we see what comes next, right? There's no way to define, there's no way to be definitive. You can have an opinion, you can say, I'm absolutely sure, but you're not, right? Nobody knows, ever. Don't let anyone tell you ever that they know where the market is going. At least in the short term, right? Nobody knows. If they tell you they know, right, guard your wallet. Okay, candidate for the low, right? Which would mean, now, if you put this back in context, oh shit, I thought I had it over here. Yep, here it is. All right, if you put this back in context, and now here we are. For the proposition here that we've gone W, X, Y. Doesn't seem that crazy. If anything out here it'd be easy to assume that this is a 5, right? It would be easy to look at this and say, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You're losing definition on a weekly here. But okay, well, let's just keep it drop dead simple. 5, 3, 5. A, B, C. Not that crazy. W, X, Y, right? Again, choose your combination. Careful about the big fat assumptions, right? That this is not a good pivot. It doesn't kill the bull market. It confirms that we've got an impulse off the low, right? Off the 15K low. So if we take a retracement, I'll be a buyer, not a seller. Okay, so there's Bitcoin. Hang on a second. I got a couple of alts to tee up. Okay, I've got 3 here. I got them all off of the hot list. Again, you know, guys, I do this on a regular basis here. I'm a big fan of alt fins. I recommend them, right? If you wanted to help out this, if you're interested, we I don't know when we get $5, something like that, right? If you use our link, right? I don't want to discourage you from using that. If you're interested, coming over here, I think they have a free trial. Use our link. It's right in our link tree. we'd appreciate that. If you want to support the channel and give us a little love, that's a nice way to do it. So I go through the hot list here. I look at it. Some of them look better than others. There were 3 in here that I thought were worthy of a closer look. Let's get over here and start with render. Now, some of them are a little bit riper than others. Let's go back to a higher time frame here. You've got, let's try a 4. Looks like there's an ABC into a candidate for a 2. I may have to go to a daily here. Yeah, I think I do, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a little funky here. 3, 4, 5, ABC. 5, 3. The market's moving 5s and 3s. So lets you draw your own conclusion. A, B, C. Well, it looks like we have a fat 3, 3, 5. 3, 3, 5. Okay, let's dig in there. What comes off of this low? Well, number 1, right? We get a little liquidity bump here. Get down here, right? You see that low? What was right here? Stops. That's all liquidity sweep is, right? It's grabbing, hitting the stops. They're hit and off we go. Now, this gets a little weird. Let me go to a 1 hour here. All right, as you can see, as I said, this is the 3rd time I've done this due to mic issues. 1, 2. Well, there's an impulse right there. I have to account for that, right? I can't ignore that impulse, right? It's right staring me in the face. Well, okay. So how do I account for it? Well, the 1, 2 seems reasonable. Right, the first impulse looks solid. You'd have to go A, B, C to get that 2 to fly, but then I get a rip-roaring impulse into a 3. A, B, C into the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, where this gets a little abnormal is that if this is the 2 here, we're making a 23.6 retracement on the 2. It is prior structure, right? Prior high comes the support. A little abby that we'd be that shallow into a 2, but with crypto, it's okay. This is going to need to get a lot more impulsive here. If indeed if this is 1, 2, and we're going to go 3, 4, 5, it's unclear, right? This could be a B, and there's a deeper retracement here. We go down here, and there's some sort of WX or AB, something like that. But right now, I'd certainly have this on your watch list. Now, here, this is a nice example here. If I pull this back a little bit, do I have that thing? I like that one. Hang on a second. What do I call him? Price line, just so you can see it. This I am the octopus guy here. All right, so it gives me a price line off to the right edge here. So you can see the reason I want to do that here, so you can see where price is now. What was this right here? That's a break of structure, right? What do we know? What do we anticipate after a break of structure? Retrace. Where's price? Right, it's already back. Right, it's already retraced beyond. So if that's 1 and that's 2, oh, that's not looking good for a 3. It's looking more like an ABC, right? Or I suppose it could be another shallow 2 and then another 1, 2, right? But now you're going through distortions here to try and accommodate your bullish bias. That's not quite what you wanted to see there. But you see, you got break, right? You've got all these breaks of structure here. You've got liquidity sweeps. This is a little, chop happy in here. I want to keep renders. Got a utility. It's got a use case. It's not a fart coin, right? It's a real cryptocurrency with real application, right? That'll likely be one of the winners in the battle amongst the. What do we got? 20,000 altcoins, right? You think all of them are going to survive? No, they're not. Okay, but we're looking for a 2. It's either going to be a shallow 2 or we're going to wait for something a little wackier here. I suppose there's this somehow we could end up here with a higher 1, but right now there's 1, 2 impulse. There's 1, 3, 5, 3, 5, 3. So at this moment in time, remember, Elliott is just a snapshot in time as we look at it, right? Is that the 2? Well, it's kind of a floater, right? It would be again, Abby, normal for it to be that shallow, not like it's never happened, just a little Abby. Right, 1 for the watch list. Keep this, right? Ideally, right, you'd buy it a little bit lower. Let me move quickly through these. Like I said, it's the 3rd time I've done it. Pretty sure the mic is working now. Okay, let me get out to Maker here. I guess I got to go to a day. You tell me. Does the market move in 5s and 3s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's a little funky because we go WX. You got to go A, B, C into the X, A, B, C into the Y. All right. Well, how about Al? Right? Is Al involved over here on Maker? Swing high, swing low. Where do we go? Not the 618. golden zone. All right, we come down here. Oh, now this is interesting, right? It doesn't quite make the target. Target's right here within this order block here. It gets to a fair value gap here, and we get a pretty big ricochet off of that. Interestingly, what do? Golden, golden. We thought it was going to be different here. Let's go to the 4 hour. All right, so AB, this got a little weird. Ugh, that's going to be, well, that's not the cleanest of finishes that I've ever seen. I'm not sure you can squeeze that in there. You might have to do a WXY. Looks like you could do it. A, B, C, A, B, C. You might have to do A, B, C. So it would be WXY, right? Because you don't quite have a clean finish there. But what do I have? I have a perfect tap into a golden. But then I get a kind of a choppy start here, so which is why I think this is potentially, right, this could turn into a WX, because this is a little squishy down here and the Elliott is sloppy. So 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's not going to work. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's a little Aave. So this is also okay. I'm watching this one, right? But I don't, this is, look where it's trading, right? This is an expensive crypto, right? So one to watch, right? But of the three, this would be the one I'd be the most reluctant to be pursuing at this moment in time. Aave, I think, has the best looking start here. Let me go back to a daily. Again, we have a pretty nice range here. Oh, I'm in log scale. Let me take it out of log. So from supply zone here, pretty hard to miss that, to a, that's a perfect Wyckoff, right? That's without a spring. There's two kinds of accumulations. Okay, so we've got this long accumulation. We pop right up to supply and then back down to demand. So we're coming out of that. It looks like there's a decent AB. It looks like you go A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4 longs fall into that 5. If I get down here, oh, let me go to, let's see, like a 2 hour here. I think that's where I was. So from the high to the low here, here's the value area here, pardon me, the volume profile. So we see all of this. We get a break of structure here, right? Because this is a pivot that created a break of structure. So this is a significant pivot. So if we get up here and break that, that will be a change of character. This will be the break of structure. But if we get down here, right? Okay, we're into all of this demand here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, pretty good looking impulse, right? Now we got a triple top here at the moment. We're not quite there. Not quite there, but it looks like we're on our way up here. And ideally, you'd sweep that high, because what's up there, right? We know there's stops there. You don't have to wonder about it. You know they're there. You think anybody else knows they're there? Of course, right? So we go up here and sweep that. Well, if we sweep there, remember, change of character is a structure break. What do we anticipate after a structure break? Retrace. Right? Not what do we know, what do we anticipate? Right? We'll see, right? There's no telling, right? That could go, there's market's not obligated to do anything. What do they usually do? Right? We break a pivot like that, anticipate a retrace. Will it come to the golden zone? I don't know, but that, again, what do they usually do? So this looks like you're not quite there, but a little more, right? Just going to give you that 5, and I'd be chomping at the bit to be a buyer down here, assuming we get a decent retracement, right? Again, we just look, some of them are 23, so we might get this, right? We might get, there's no knowing here. It's just, you've got to have a trading plan here with a methodology with some rules. This is, you'd have to pay me to buy that. Literally, you would have to pay me to take the risk to buy that. It doesn't fit my rules, right? 30 years of doing this, my rules are pretty deeply ingrained. I don't buy that, right? I would just, again, you'd have to pay me to buy that because the risk is too high. It's just, again, if you're reviewing your trades here, now you might say, oh, well, I knew it was going to make it to that 5. No, you don't. You don't know shit. Neither do I, neither does anybody about the future. We can predict, we can think, well, I'm pretty sure it's going to make that. Well, but that's not knowing. Let the market prove it. Prove it to you. Oh, okay. Well, now I don't have to. Now I don't have to guess. Now I don't have to think that it's going there. It went there. What do I anticipate next? Opportunity, right? That's all we're doing here is teeing this up here. Let it go. I don't know where that's going, but we get up here and we complete that 5. We get a little divergence. I don't know if I have anything below. What do I do here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't make this shit up. That is literally perfect Elliott Wave Oscillator price action. Perfect. Now, okay, right? If this were to fly higher, okay, well this could climb, right? Because all it is separation between two moving averages. That's all the Elliott Wave Oscillator is. We get divergence up there. Look at the RSI, right? There's a whole lot of things suggesting, okay, one more push up here, and we wait for the retrace. So on your watch list is all I'm saying, right? I think that would be worthy. Okay, I got those three. Okay, so now I'm gonna do this. It'll be a lot faster than the first two. The first time I did it, I think it was damn near an hour. But now that I've done it a couple of times here, I can get through it more quickly. Okay, here's the S&P, and I'm going to finish with the bonds, right? So this is, you take note of where we are. Now, with the market just closed. This is, now note here, I'm in the futures, right? Because I get cleaner price action. So here's the absolute all-time high, right there. Here's our, call it the tariff low. Now, unlike Bitcoin, unlike Bitcoin, I think we've got a truncation here rather than a 1-2, right, which is what I just showed you in Bitcoin. I think it's a 1-2 because I don't think you can connect the two. This has to complete here. Well, rephrase. If this is WXY, right, you're looking for an ABC. Oh shit, I don't have it labeled. I've done it a couple of times here. I'm not sure why I don't have it, but ABCW. A, B, C, D, E, X, so W, X, Y, right? It would be the count here. This would be A, this would be B, and this would be C, right? So I need a 5 that completes down here. Okay, well, I'm not so sure. Not so sure, right? So this would be a bearish interpretation here because if we come off of this, let's see. Now the market's closed right now, right? So we can see where we're gonna. This is. I swear to God, I can't make this shit up, guys. All right, so where do we finish? Literally, we finished the week splitting the golden zone. Amazing, right? Okay, so do we know? Right, lows in? No. This is a bearish count here. Right? There's a very funky bullish count, but I would resist going there just yet because first place I've got this unusual, right? I got an abnormal finish here. Again, it's not like there's never been a truncation, but if I go up here, I can go into I could redo this and do an ABC, right? So this would here if I pull this off, let's complete the whole thing, right? So this could be, it could be either one, ABC into a W. ABC into an X. Pick your weirdness here. There's an impulse here, there's an impulse here. So A, B, C, hard to reconcile what you have there because it's so unusual. Right, again, unusual times. But what I can see is impulse, impulse. So some way I've got to connect these two. Well, W, X, A, B, C, Y. Could be running flat through a WXY, or just you want to keep it simple, A, B, C into a B, A, B, C. Although this looks like 3, so that's why I would do that as again, just for the sake of simplicity. Okay, well if that's a WXY, right, we're not done yet. This is not. We're not going 1, 2, 3. Right, so now careful of that, right? So people are 9 days in a row, I think, of higher price action here. Recovery after tariff crazy. Now we don't know that. Remember, tariffs are not called off; they're just on pause, right? We got. Reminder, we've got 3 3/4 years to go, right? So a lot of shit can happen, right? So as we sit right here in the golden zone. It's nice, right? So, love them or hate them, right? We want the administration to have a good outcome here, right? So, again, personal bias or feelings about it. We want a successful administration, right? It means good for the U.S., good for the stock market, good for investors. So, right, we stay hopeful for a positive outcome. A lot of people not so sure about that, right? But I would be one of them, but I let the price action dictate my, which way I think we're going next. Certainly in the near term. WXY finish at a golden zone, and you could make a pretty strong case here that that's done. Now, next week, we might blow right through this and get a big daily close up here, and we're done. But here's what gives me the majority of my caution here to just assuming that it's 1, 2, and we've gone 1, 2, and this is some sort of a 1. It's certainly not an impulse. So the idea of going 1, 2, it's not a 1. Well, unless you're going to call that the 2. But then you'd be going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Here's why I think that's less like not impossible, just improbable, the bonds. And so I'm going to finish here, right? So this is as close to being valid or being invalidated, I should say, as you can probably get, right? Probably no disagreement here that off of the, what is that, the 23 low, we get an impulse up. And it looks like we get just a long, big flat, right? 3, 3, 5. You know, a lot of choppiness, right? It's 3 years. Excuse me, 2 years. 2 years of a sideways flat. Well, here's where I think it gets. You be careful about your assumptions here. So because this is the futures here, I don't. Not everybody trades traditionals, right? So the price. Excuse me. The price action here is the opposite, right? So if the price is going up, rates are coming down. If the price is going down, rates are going up. So if we look here off of the proposed, right? The proposed is 1 into an ABC into a flat, right? So then this likely 1. Likely, right? I got a completed impulse here. I'm going to put a 1 there. I'm pretty comfortable putting a 1 after the big flat. Because what am I anticipating? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of that's much higher. Higher prices, long term, lower rates. Short term, whoa, slow down. Well, coming off of the proposed, not proposed, a completed impulse, what do I get? Another impulse, right? It's a little skinny up top. 1, 2, right? We get a lower high here. 3, 4, 5. Now here's where, I mean, you can't deny this. 5 down, right? We begin and end at 5s. Well, we began something there. We certainly didn't end something there. Because we completed something here. That's likely an A wave. Well, we're past any potential for that to be an impulse. That's a zigzag. A, B. I don't think there's going to be an Elliottician that's going to dispute that with me. Oh, shit. There's always someone who does, but I'm not sure there'd be that knowledgeable. Take note here, right? We did get a close here. I think we got it on the daily as well. Nope. Oh shit. I thought we did. We didn't, right? Remember, Al's not broken until we get a close on the daily to absolutely know he's gone, right? That's a wicks. Wicks do the damage. Bodies tell the story. All right, so if I'm right, I just want to make sure I'm right on that pivot. I am, right? So I'm right here on this. So A, B, C. Right, so if I take it back, let's go to a 2 hour. To a 2 hour, what do you see there? Again, that looks like a good 5. That looks like a kind of a weird 3, but it's a zigzag all day. What have we done? We've come right back to the point of control. Well, what are you going to label this? Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll put the C up here. Probably not. 1. What's the alternate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, if I put that in, let's put it in white. Take it up a degree. 1, 2, 3. Not looking so good. Where's the algo target? Down here. Right now, again, the market is not, as I have to remind people, and myself as well, market is not obligated to do anything ever. It's going to do what it's going to do. All we're doing is trying to use 96 years of precedent to say, what does it usually do? 5, A, B. Somewhere down here, we're going to find a C. Most likely, right? Now, there's no knowing, but most likely the price action here implies lower prices, which implies higher rates, which takes me back here to slow down. Higher rates is not going to be good for the market. A lot of pressure on the Fed to lower rates coming from, I've got to catch myself, right? A lot of pressure to lower rates. I don't think he's going to be influenced by that pressure, as long as he's got the job. Higher rates will not be good for the stock market. Now, that doesn't mean we crash and go into recession, but it means to assume here that this is 1-2 and we're just going to go, given what we just looked at here, not so sure. I would absolutely have this in a watch list here, and I would check it regularly, right? So, okay, maybe if well, just think length of time, right? If nothing else, right? I'll leave you with this thought, right? That's the length of time of that one. We're going to correct that there. Oh, shit. Can I do it? What's the inside color? All right, do it that way. Okay, so we're going to correct that with that. It's not that it can't, it's not, nothing's impossible in the market. It's just not what does it usually do. What would be more likely? Oh, shock if I can do it. Almost a full, almost matching. And that's suggesting A, B, C. A few things to think about. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that. This is the third time I've recorded this. I'm pretty sure I've got the mic situation figured out. Okay, guys, just a reminder, right? I'm supposed to do this at the beginning, but I always forget. Make sure I didn't undo my mic. If you want to join us, right, you can always, our website free. You can get into the white belt. Discord's free, right? If you want to just come in and sniff around, see what it's like, come on over. We're not going to attack you and reach for your wallet. It's a way for you to kind of, interact with other members, see what it's like in there, see if you like what you see. If you want to get into the belt system, right, you take your time with that. You can do one belt at a time. You don't have to pay for the whole thing. Right? So listen, if you make it through blue belt, right, and you pass blue belt, you're ahead of 90% of the other retail traders out there, right, and 90% fail. So if you want to be in the 10%, it's not a bad idea to develop that skill set. But it's personal preference. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat. That's just how we do it. Okay, guys, with that, I wish you a good weekend, and hopefully I've got the recording here worked out, so I won't be doing this a fourth time. Okay, guys, have a good weekend. Our links, right, as I mentioned before, in our link tree if you want to be supporting the channel. We'd always appreciate it. Okay, guys, have a good one. I'll be back next Wednesday for a live stream. See you then.